Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey everybody, I got a video here for you to watch, Ben Mysalis, and let's take a look at that. I think you'll find it interesting.
This is what he looks like now. He's rotting on the inside. He's rotting on the outside. It is rotten at the White House with the biggest cover-up yet. You all saw Donald Trump's deranged post yesterday regarding the Epstein list, which he says didn't exist, but then he said actually Obama, Clinton, James Comey, and Democrats created the Epstein list and created the files, and it's a hoax and it's fake, so therefore he's not releasing it. Move on. There's nothing to see, and he's very happy with the way Attorney General Pam Bondi and his FBI Director Kash Patel have completely covered up the Epstein list and the Epstein files. Oh, his people are pissed. By the way, Epstein files, Epstein list are the most searched item on Google right now. You have the Trump supporters, his most loyal supporters. They're all burning their MAGA hats. Some are torching their MAGA hats. Some are burning their MAGA hats and giving the burnt MAGA hats the middle finger. This is happening en masse right now. Rasmussen, one of Donald Trump's top pollsters, have said they've never seen anything like this before. They said anybody important in the MAGA movement right now is absolutely livid and pissed. And you have Elon Musk, who previously said Trump was on the Epstein list, and that's why Donald Trump was covering this all up. Well, he's sticking in the dagger and he is turning it. He goes, seriously? Trump said Epstein half a dozen times while telling everyone to stop talking about Epstein. Just release the files as promised. MAGA is up in flames tonight. And just think about how stupid he made his influencers look. All those right-wing MAGA influencers who back in February went to the White House. They held up those binders that said the Epstein files, phase 1, and Pam Bondi, Donald Trump's attorney general, did a media tour. And she's like, the Epstein files are on my desk. We are getting ready to release them. And you know, I've been like, there's no way they're releasing the Epstein files. Trump's going to be all over him. He's all over the files that have been released already. I mean, about 10% of all of the Epstein files are already out there based on the civil and criminal cases where judges have allowed some of the documents to get out there. Trump's in the deposition. Trump's on the call log. Trump's on the flight log, right? Trump is all over the stuff. Epstein used Mar-a-Lago to recruit the girls that he sex trafficked. Virginia Giuffre, who recently died by suicide, she was 17 years old, homeless, got a job at Mar-a-Lago. Ghislaine Maxwell, who trafficked for Epstein, would go to Mar-a-Lago, find the girls, find Giuffre, brought her to Epstein, Epstein trafficked her. That's what's going on. All right, so how is Donald Trump responding to the fact that his entire term right now is going down in flames? Well, he's got to run to state regime media, Fox, but the only host on state regime media who even wanted to be near him, do you know who it was? Lara Trump. No one else wanted anything to do with him last night. So Lara Trump does the interview with him and she asks hardball questions. I'm just joking. She asks, some say you're the bodyguard of Western civilization. How would you respond? Here, play this clip.
Especially this last couple of weeks has been pretty amazing.
Some people have called you the bodyguard of Western civilization.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that title?
Well, I understand what they mean. It was going bad. We were going bad.
This is their plan. This is their way of trying to deal with the biggest scandal Trump's been hit with yet. Lara Trump then asks her father-in-law, how do you have the ability to make such a good cabinet? Here, watch this.
Your cabinet is comprised of so many incredible people, and people that even a year ago, so many would never have imagined, like RFK Jr., who a year ago was running for president as a Democrat. Why do you think you have this ability? And I feel like it has really been to your benefit. Look at this incredible cabinet you've put together. They're all people who are working to make America great again.
They've been incredible, actually. The cabinet's been incredible.
And by the way, one of the funny things in this interview is Lara Trump looks like she's like a giant compared to Donald Trump where he's sitting. Let's take a look at that photo. Anyway, then Lara Trump says, how do you want to be remembered? This is their way of trying to get their viewers to be distracted. But even the Fox cult, they're not being brainwashed by this anymore. They're going, release the Epstein files. Here's what she says. Here, play this clip.
Just to wrap up here, you're talking about people not remembering. I don't think anyone will ever forget President Donald J. Trump. But when history looks back on this time in our country, when history looks back on you, how would you like to be remembered?
A good person, but a person that saved our country. I really believed our country was going down for the fall.
By the way, yesterday, J.D. Vance vacationing in California. J.D. Vance has basically spent the entire summer vacationing in California. He was previously in San Diego. Now he is in Anaheim at Disneyland for a vacation. So while the Trump regime attacks California, sends ICE to try to destroy Los Angeles and Santa Barbara County and Riverside County and Tulare County, and Ventura County and Fresno County, J.D. Vance just, I'm in Disneyland with my family. To which Governor Newsom writes, J.D. Vance on Tom Sawyer Island and looking for the next alligator Alcatraz. Too many happy families for him in one place. Governor Newsom says, hope you enjoy your family time, J.D. Vance. The families you're tearing apart certainly won't. And then Governor Newsom was thanked by Governor Greg Abbott of Texas because California provided canine teams to Texas to help locate bodies. And Greg Abbott goes, thanks to California governor for sending canine teams to Texas. The quick response from many states was crucial in our rescue and recovery. Governor Newsom goes, California is proud to help Texas in this moment of crisis. Tragedy tests us. How we come together to help communities recover defines us, right? So while Newsom is sounding presidential and talking like that, remember what Donald Trump said at the press conference he held on Friday? I'm not even going to show you the clip where he goes, it's evil for you to ask why the response was so slow. It's evil for you to ask why the federal government shut down its call center and fired all of the people on July 5th who would answer the emergency calls. Remember what Trump said? It would be evil for you to ask why it was that it took 72 hours for Kristi Noem to activate the urban search and rescue teams. It would be evil for you to ask. The losers are the only persons who try to blame people. That's actually what Governor Abbott and MAGA Republican Congress member Chip Roy said. And yep, we're learning that on July 7th, 85% of calls to FEMA went unanswered because they fired all of the workers, basically. Oh, yeah, and by the way, from the National Weather Service, 6 critical vacancies there as well, including the lead meteorologist coordinator, got pushed out by DOJ. But what else would you expect from this regime? But here's what Donald Trump said about the water was so high you could like surf it. What the hell is he talking about? Here, play this clip.
There's one story that one person said it had to be 60 feet at one moment. This is like a giant wave in the Pacific Ocean that the best surfers in the world would be afraid to surf.
You could surf it? That's the way you're dealing with families right here? What in the world are you talking about? Okay, show you some other data points here as well. As I've said before, the tourism boycott taking place right now against the United States, I told you, is going to have a crippling effect on the American economy. It's already devastating many states like Nevada. As Jake Bro goes, it only took Trump 7 months, but he has destroyed the Las Vegas economy. International tourism is dead because everyone in the world now hates America. Because of Trump's tariffs and tax increases, middle-class Americans can no longer afford a Vegas vacation anymore. Also, Canadians and people from across the world would go to Vegas. Everything here is rapidly getting worse with layoffs. The city is about to crater hard over the next year. Nevada unemployment is the highest in the country right now at 5.5% of labor force. out of work, basically a massive recession in Nevada right now. We predicted it. I mean, tourism from Canada alone is down around 40%. And a lot of Canadians right now would be going to Vegas and other places. By the way, that's going to affect a lot of other places as well. Speaking of Canada, Melanie Joly, the former foreign minister, she's now their economic minister, an industrial economic minister. Here's Melanie Joly at an important meeting yesterday or 2 days ago with her counterpart in the European Union. And she goes, we're turning to Europe as America is getting weaker. Here, play this clip.
What I wanted to emphasize today is, as minister in charge of industries and of the economy, is we are not alone in this world. We need to be closer to our allies. And that is why today is so important. It's been only 15 days that the Prime Minister signed an agreement with the EU to make sure that not only, of course, that we have free trade agreement, but that we are very closely aligned on defense and on all our industrial policies. And that's why Stefan and I today are together, because we're in solution mode and we're trying to make sure that ultimately, while the US is becoming weaker, we will become stronger and we will diversify and turn ourselves towards Europe.
All right, while we're here together, I'll give you some more data points. We had Michael Wolff, Donald Trump's biographer, and someone who was going to be potentially doing Jeffrey Epstein's biographer. We had him on the Midas Touch Network yesterday. Here's what Michael Wolff had to say. Here, let's play this clip.
Once when I was, this was in Mar-a-Lago, I went to have a sit down with him. And his aides just asked me, a rough outline of what I wanted to talk about. And I had a lot of subjects, but I also said Epstein. And they said, if you ask about that, he'll just stop the interview and you won't get anything. So this person said, I recommend, you can ask about anything, but I really recommend you not ask that if you hope for this interview to go on.
Now here's Michael Wolff in another interview talking about the photos that he saw of Trump and Epstein with naked girls on their laps. Here, play this clip.
And I've said before that Epstein used to bring out this set of pictures. There were about a dozen snapshots, and among them, there are at least three that I remember. Two of topless girls sitting in Trump's lap around Epstein's swimming pool, and then one with a stain on the front of Trump's pants with 3 or 4 girls laughing and pointing at it. So I have seen those pictures.
So what's your best guess as to where they are?
Well, I'm my best guess is that Epstein kept them in the safe. The safe was emptied out by the FBI. Where are those pictures?
And finally, I want you all to remember this clip right here. This is from 2020 when Donald Trump was interviewed by Axios on HBO, and he was asked, why did you wish Ghislaine Maxwell? They were very close friends together. I mean, Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein lived like 2 blocks away from Trump's Mar-a-Lago. And that's why Trump said Epstein's a great guy on the younger side. They hung out together. They were involved in all of this together. It's pretty clear from all of the stuff that was released. They did this stuff together. So Trump was asked, why did you wish Ghislaine Maxwell well? Why did you say you hope she's doing well in her sex trafficking trial? She's a sex trafficker. So why would you say nice things about her? Here's how Trump responded to that in 2020. Let's play it.
Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is. Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
First of all, I don't know that, but I do know that
she has. She's been arrested for that. You know that.
Her friend or boyfriend,
Epstein,
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that?
Oh, so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
she's
made
a child
such
sex
a big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
I should also note as well right now that Congress member Ro Khanna posted the following. Why are the Epstein files still hidden? Who are the rich and powerful being protected? On Tuesday, I'm introducing an amendment to force a vote demanding the full Epstein files be released to the public. The Speaker must call a vote and put every Congress member on record. Senator Brian Schatz says this is very likely exactly what it looks like. It is. We hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
Yeah, well, you know, I got to say, none of this is really a shocker. It really isn't. Seeing MAGA now turning on Trump, it was inevitable, okay? Even the most avid cultists, you're going to have dissenters once realization opens their eyes as to what Trump's been doing and how bad it is for the country as a whole. I mean, if you consider yourself a patriot, which MAGA people in MAGA do, then as a patriot, that means you have to have some love for your country. But if you can sit back and let this kind of disaster unfold, okay, in your country, when it really isn't necessary, then your patriotism goes under question. Okay, you're not so much, we don't see you as a patriot if you support, you know, that kind of fascist, dictatorial kind of crap that you would have seen in Nazi Germany. Okay, so with that going on, and of course now the Epstein stuff, you know, getting more attention, people are really pissed in the MAGA party over that. Okay, wasn't really aware of just how angry people were getting over that, except for the last few days. I mean, it seems like, you know, the press even is getting kind of antsy. You know, they're starting to hound Pam Bondi. You know, they want answers because, hey, she put her neck out there months back and said, oh, I got all the stuff right here on my desk. I got the list, I got the files, I got everything. It's all on my desk. And we'll be releasing the names here in just, you know what, a couple weeks, she said. And then a month and a half goes by, and then all of a sudden the FBI says, oh, we don't have anything. Okay? I think that sent shockwaves through the press, through MAGA, you know, and it's like, what? Because you see, MAGA and state-sponsored media, Fox News, had put their necks out on the line that Trump is innocent of any of this stuff, that no, he wasn't involved in anything to do with what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. He was fine. He was innocent. And it's going to come out. They said, oh, it's all going to come out. Well, they were probably thinking that things would be released that would be redacted here and redacted there. That would have given Fox News the avenue to make the argument that, yeah, there's nothing in here that connects to Trump or anything like that, you know? But to just flat out say, no, we have nothing, means that they couldn't even do the redaction process, probably because there was so much stuff in the files that they had that to redact it, they would have got back a painting of Midnight on the Ocean, okay? Because it would have been all black, which means Trump's name must be involved in that in so many ways that it only proves that the FBI was doing its job and found all they needed to find to hang this guy, you know, to hang Trump. And since he's the president now, they're not going to want to do it. But if he wasn't president, they'd have probably would have ran with it and gone after him, okay, if he wasn't the president. But because he is, well, now we have a convicted felon and a possible sex trafficker running our country. And people, that's not going to look very good on the American history, okay, knowing that we got a president who was involved you know, in the molestation of underage girls, you know, in a global system, no less, okay? Because there's people involved in this that came from other countries. And, you know, Trump, you know, hey, it takes people with big money to do that kind of stuff for as long as this was going on, okay? Epstein had lots of money. Trump's got lots of money. That prince or duke from England definitely has a lot of money. These are folks who had the money to create this fucking system that was going around picking up, you know, what Ghislaine was going around finding girls to bring for Epstein to whatever, you know. So, hey, Trump's name is in there. We know that much because this, I mean, he as much as admitted that he knew the guy for decades, okay? And he says, oh, they're good friends. And then, you know, you hear about them asking him about Ghislaine in prison. He said, I wish her well. You know, that's certainly not the kind of reaction you want to get from a president talking about someone who's in prison for this crime, okay? And he wishes her well. It's like wishing Ted Bundy well. You know, come on. It's like, you know, you got to have some measure of morality here, Trump. I mean, you don't wish somebody well that you know committed crimes unless you yourself were involved with them because you knew Jeffrey Epstein and you knew it was Ghislaine. So, hey, I mean, that's kind of revealing in itself. And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, the Trump administration doesn't want the press just having it a free-for-all at a presser. They don't want them asking any questions about Epstein because they are worried, number one, about Trump. Because he's got a habit of just rambling and saying whatever the hell is comes off the cuff with everything he says. And since we know mentally he's degraded, he could inadvertently say something that would incriminate him in front of the goddamn world, in front of the press, that would certainly light a fire under everybody's ass. And I think MAGA, some people, they just want to back away from this because they see, you know, a keg of dynamite, and Trump is sitting here playing with matches while he's sitting on this keg. And they just don't want to be they don't want to be the people still left holding the bag in the end saying, oh, I didn't know, I didn't. They just want to get away from this guy. If there's any morality in the MAGA movement, and I'm thinking, you know, at least, you know, if they claim to be Christian, then they would find it very unpleasant to be associated with a guy who's, you know, been involved with underage girls and doing what he's been doing, okay? I mean, if they have any fucking sense of value, these people would cut their ties off to this man. And I think some of these people that are out there burning their hats and stuff are those people. You know, these are folks who it's getting too uncomfortable to be pro-Trump because he's doing a lot of things that's making me uncomfortable, and I'm tired of getting, you know, asked from other folks why I voted for this man. You know, people are starting to think now. They're really thinking. This is the kind of thinking that these folks should have done before the election, you know, instead of being focused on owning the libs, okay? They should have been focused more on what's going to happen if all this stuff about him comes out while he's president. What's going to happen when he starts doing these deportations while he's president? You know, all the stuff that he's doing is all hurting his administration, his popularity. Yeah, he may score high with the Republicans as a whole about his approval, but when you lump in the entire country with that number, his approval ratings are down near the fucking gutter, okay? So and that's growing. That number's growing too. So every day, more and more people are cutting themselves off from this guy. And they're realizing that he wasn't the guy we needed. He sounded like the guy we wanted, but he was obviously playing us for a fucking idiot, and we fell for it. And now, you know, here we are. And like I said, we're going through the find out stage this year. And I said that this year would be that. Next year is going to be the mission to push for impeachment. Okay, because I'll tell you what's really going to hurt is this Christmas or the holidays when they come, and people look around the table while they're sitting there, and they'll notice some people missing at the table. They're either deported or they died because the health care was canceled. And so there's going to be some empty chairs at a lot of tables, and there's going to be a lot of families that aren't going to be able to afford presents or stuff like that for their kids or their loved ones or something, because they may be out of work. And when people sit there and we go through a holiday season of that, okay, next year when the midterms start heating up, that's going to create a mass movement of people going out after any Republican who's running. They'll vote for anybody other than a Republican, okay? And this is why I'm saying why Congress isn't doing anything now is ridiculous. They're committing suicide. They really are. They're committing suicide. If they're not doing anything now, then no one's going to look to them to do anything. They're just going to get rid of them. They're going to just vote everybody out. Everybody. Okay? They're going to want all new faces in Congress. And so this is why I'm saying what Trump is doing isn't just hurting America or his administration. It's hurting everybody. It's hurting the other politicians that claim that they're part of the Republican Party or part of MAGA or something. You know, these people are going to be looking at lost seats here because Trump's not helping them, and he doesn't care to help them. He gets to stay in the office. He doesn't have to go through the midterms. And I don't think if any Republican wants to win, they're not going to reach out to Trump and ask him to give a speech at one of their rallies or something. They're going to just cut themselves off from him as much as they can. But I want people to remember that as the Republicans run and they start to talk shit about Trump, just remember they also supported Trump in the beginning. Now it's their neck on the line, and now they're turning on him. So are they being genuine? Probably not. Okay, are they? Because it's only feasible for them to turn against him when it helps them. Because if there's anything about politics, it's every man for himself. Every man, every woman for themselves. And Trump will get pissed as that goes on, because, you know, hey, he's the reason that they'll lose seats. He knows this. And he doesn't want his party to fracture and turn on him, but he's creating the very situation he's hoping to avoid. And it's the dumbest thing you ever seen. I mean, it's a guy who's hell-bent on destroying his own fucking presidency. Some people are already going out there and saying that he did destroy his presidency already in the first 6 months of his time. And I would say, yeah, I would say he started on that path. But he ain't done yet, because until the economy actually fucking collapses, only then will people say his presidency has failed. Okay? When it affects everybody. And what I'm saying was, when the market actually crashes, okay, and some people say it's already crashing now, we just haven't got the numbers yet. But when things are so slow and the layoffs keep happening and companies keep closing their doors, when all that happens, that's it. Because if there's one thing everybody cares about across the board, it's money. I hate to say it, but it's true. Every election, it's always about the economy first. I mean, that's what they say Kamala Harris lost, was because everybody perceived the economy to be bad. And that's why, and she represented Biden, so they didn't want anything to do with the Biden administration, so they didn't want to vote for her. I think there was a lot of reasons why she didn't win. That was probably just one of them. But with the way this country is, if Trump cannot deliver a good economy, and that's why we voted him out the last time. You remember? When he was Trump the first time, when he was president the first time, he lost because everybody saw the economy crashing and they wanted him out. And they put Biden in there, okay? And because the economy didn't bounce back big enough for America, that's why they voted Biden out and put Trump back in. You know, which makes no sense. I mean, so you got rid of Trump because he couldn't manage the economy, and then you got rid of somebody you think ain't managing the economy, and you put back the guy you originally said couldn't manage the economy. You know, you see that the ridiculousness of MAGA is boundless. I mean, it's you know, I don't know. But, like I said, it's going to be the economy. If the economy sucks, okay, then that's it. You know, Republicans are going to lose everywhere, okay? Trump doesn't have to worry about regaining a seat. If he thinks he's going to run for a third term, he's got another thing coming, okay? It ain't going to happen. I don't think MAGA is willing to see him run for a third term. I don't think the Republican Party is interested in seeing him run a third term if they could even allow it, okay? I don't see it. I do not see it. And I know a lot of people out there, a lot of the core MAGA nuts are like, yes, vote for, you know, no. If you do that, guess who's going to run against him? Barack Obama, okay? So if you okay it for Trump, then you got to okay it for everybody. And that's one of the big reasons why they won't run him for a third term, is because they don't want to have to go up against one of the other presidents we had. Okay? They just don't want that. And they've got enough egg on their face as it is. I don't think that Republican Party could actually continue to exist under that circumstance if they run Trump or try to run him for a third term against somebody that's way more popular than him. So, yeah, that's a lot that Ben was talking about there, but it's all a big snapshot of what I expected to see this summer. Okay. The ICE raids and the Trump's little scandals are coming out and getting bigger every day. It's all what I pretty much expected, because I knew this guy, what he was, okay? I tried the best as I could last year to explain that to people, but it's really hard during an election year to make people, to make them objective, to have them put their personal biases aside and just think, okay? You can't do that, because people get so fucking defensive the minute you say something that doesn't go along with what they believe. They get argumentative. They want to fight. They want to, you know. And when you got mentalities like that, these people will plunge themselves into a problem and then regret it afterwards. And so I knew that if Trump had won, that it would be a disaster, not only for the country, but, you know, Republican Party, everybody that supported Trump, they would all be like completely, you know, despondent by the end of the year, because what Trump had planned for this country, and it was all laid out in Project 2025, and he's followed everything in there so far. Everything that he's planned in that, okay, was not good. Not fucking good. It was not American in any fashion. It was all fascist in its drafting. I can't imagine people who claim to be Christian what the hell they were thinking when they sat down and wrote this thing, because there's nothing in it that resembles anything that a Christian would believe in. Nothing. Okay? That manifesto on its own reveals what Christianity is in this country. Okay? And right now, Christianity is the enemy of America. It really is, because it's become radicalized. They no longer follow the teachings, okay, of what Jesus said or what was in the Bible. Okay, they might as well just take the Bible as it is and throw it away, because they created their own Bible in their heads. All right? And so these folks are really lost. I mean, you want to talk about the enemy within. Well, it's these lost people, these lost Americans. That's the enemy within, because they don't know what this country's about anymore. and they don't think that America stands for anything that they care about, when they just spend all their time looking at, problems and trying to get rid of things they can't tolerate. If you cannot tolerate freedom in this country, if you can't tolerate it to give people their privacy, then you shouldn't be living in this country. Go live in another country where there's more oppression, religious oppression. That would be more to your liking. But don't turn that into this country. Don't turn America into that. Okay? Do not do that, because we don't have any more continents to flee to get away from that kind of shit. And so if you start it here, it's only going to end in a civil war, because people are going to fight to the bitter end to get back what you took away from them. And that's what I see that coming if nothing else more civilized gets in the way here to kind of stop this. But like I said, I did another video, I don't see any real big movements here to try to stop the ICE raids, or just to have Trump follow the law, for Christ's sake. The simplest goddamn thing, you can't even do that. So I feel like there's a lot that has to be done, and it has to begin somewhere. And I guess we can't really expect it from the Christian right, because they're actually the reason all this shit's happening here. So I don't know. It's going to be troubling times still to come. Things are still going to get worse, and I'm not envious at all of anybody trying to make a living with a family and kids and stuff like that. I mean, it has to be doubly stressful for you, because you not only got kids, you got a wife, or you don't have a wife, but you got kids. You're a breadwinner, or you're trying to feed them. You want them to have a future, and you're seeing that all being dismantled all around you, everywhere. And a lot of people are just, they would rather just pack their shit and leave this country and go somewhere else, because they think they got better chances. And I can't blame you. If you got a family and you have an avenue of being able to do that, I would suggest you do it. Okay? Because I can't guarantee you that this country is still going to be anywhere near livable in the near future here, because I don't know what the hell to expect. I really don't. I just know it's only going to get worse. So, yeah, I mean, I would say think of your family first. They have to come first. Forget about this America first shit. Right now, it's every man for himself right now. That's what we've gotten ourselves into, okay? Because America is on fire, and people don't want to sit in the house on fire. They want to get the hell out of it, So, I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.